Well, howdy, my name is Grant McQuilkin. This is Dave Parker, and we're the founders of ICCG. We're
howdy?
Howdy. We're in our offices in Texas, so we're saying howdy
today.
Looking a little
Western today.
There you go.
Flannel on like
That's exactly right. And what we're doing with this video series is just kind of walking people through what to expect if and when they want to sell their company.
Right.
And so one of the questions that business owners always have of us, Dave, is how long am I going to have to stay on in the company, or am I going to manage the company? What's that all about?
Yeah, that's a great question. One which comes up most often in companies where the owner is involved in the business, when they're involved in the business on a day-to-day basis. So it really depends on the situation. And it depends on the type of buyer and how dependent the buyer is on having the seller involved. For instance, if they're the ones who mainly deal with the customers, that they may need to stay around longer to ensure that all the customers have been introduced to the new owners and they're comfortable with them and they've kind of made a bond there. On the other hand, if they are absentee owners and have very little to do with the day-to-day operations, the buyers may want them to be available as needed for a specific period of time, but the value of the business often fluctuates in reality depending on how dependent the business is on the owner. For example, if the business will have a hard time running without the current owner, then the valuation may go down simply because the buyer will need to replace the owner with a salaried manager who can learn and handle those responsibilities. A financial buyer or a different buyer group may have all their administration in place and everything and may be ready to roll. They may be simply wanting this owner to stick around for just a little bit and to help them graft their company into their existing operations, and then it's time for them to move on and let them just run the company.
Yeah. We've often been asked this question, and we have to discourage the sellers from thinking that the same old is going to happen after the transaction.
It very rarely happens.
Right, and most of us who have owned businesses don't like working for other people all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And so there's just a different environment. There's a different boss, and so we try to discourage long-term commitments. People say, well, I'll be on for 2 years. And the reality of it is 2 years is a long, long time when you're working for somebody else all of a sudden after 20 years.
Well, first of all, I think a lot of times we ask our business owners, how long are you willing to stay on? And the typical one is about 6 months.
Yeah.
And so we normally say that's really good. In about 2 months, they're going to really, in a nice way, tell you to take a hike.
That's exactly right.
Because you're going to have it all figured out.
Well, and as we all know, when we've sold our businesses, and when we go back to those businesses, an old employee walks in the room and asks a question, and we're with the new owners, they defer to us, even though we're not even the owners anymore, and that's not a healthy situation for the business under the new ownership.
Interesting story. I was on an airplane not long ago and ran into we sold our company to somebody who then sold it to somebody. Literally, we sold this business about almost 15 years ago. Or 12 years ago. And I met this guy. I ended up sitting beside him, saw a hat that looked familiar, and went, I know that company. And I said, that was one of our companies. He said, are you kidding me? He asked me my name and he says, hang on, are you Dave? And is your partner Grant? And I said, yeah. And he says, your pictures are still on the wall in the office. That many years down the road.
Yeah.
Right? If we were to walk in there and see some of the same employees, you're absolutely right. They would probably defer to us and wonder, well, what are they going to say?
Yeah. And so it's just, what we want is we want the long-term success of the business. That's what our clients want, really. And so this is a great question, but it's all part of our engagement in making the transition healthy.
That's right. Well, hey, thank you for joining us today. This is a fun subject. We love seeing businesses. We love helping business owners exit well.
Yeah.
Finishing well that chapter of their life. And so if we can help you, feel free to contact us. Go check out the rest of our videos and blogs on our website, and we'll look forward to talking with you next time.